closed that fall into that low category, and does it apply to all types of charter schools?
I'm glad you raised the question. At the height of having you booed for the 50th time I got up here, just because students are not performing well doesn't mean that a charter school is failing. And you understand that, why that is. Because sometimes it's the last station before a kid quits. So some of these charter schools are dealing with the toughest group of kids in terms of, I don't mean tough kids, but the ones that have the greatest challenges. So we're not going to judge this on the basis necessarily of, is everybody getting a good grade? We're going to do this on the basis of metrics that Dick will set, and Dick, you should talk about that, but it is our intent to clean up this program. We're going to give him the ability to deny and remove these sponsors from our state if it is determined that they are not in it for the kids. And Dick, you might want to talk about rolling this out, and we're going to have to spend some time with the legislature on this. But in addition to doing that, of course, we strengthen charters when we give them the opportunity to actually go on the ballot to get the resources to really build a stronger, this is a big proposal, to build a stronger system of charter schools within a school district. Dick?
We're looking at really focusing on the authorizers, the sponsors, and the governor said, you know, we have to be mindful of the fact that some of our community schools are the school of last resort, and in particular dropout recovery schools where these students wouldn't be in school at all. They'd be on the streets if it was not for that. So our proposal is really to look at the authorizers, evaluate the authorizers of high quality schools. We would want to, and in this proposal, would be closing poor quality authorizers' ability to sponsor schools. I think that would drive our higher quality schools to higher quality authorizers. I think what it does is almost cleanses the market of some low quality authorizers, and we will have our highest providers, our highest authorized sponsors, be collecting high quality schools from a variety of sponsors around the state. And I think this is a really good omen to start turning this around, because my core belief, and I know the governor's, is that every youngster in the state needs a high quality opportunity to go to school. So, I mean, it's going to be focusing on authorizers and sponsors. If they're poorly rated, then we would keep them from authorizing any additional schools and eliminate the ability for them to authorize even the ones they have right now.
So all sponsors.
You know, the other thing is Dick's going to have the authority to kick them out of the state. I believe that'll be problematic. I'll tell you why. We're going to have to design something more sophisticated than this, because what we don't want to do is we don't want to have somebody, first of all, what we don't want to do is have somebody just deciding they're against charter schools. We get a superintendent when Dick is gone and I'm gone, and then all of a sudden they decide, okay, we don't like charter schools, they start shutting them down. That was, I think, the concern of the legislature when this first started. But you can't let these poor functioning charters operate in the state that are in it for whatever reason and not for kids. So maybe it'll have to be a joint decision, I don't know, by the legislature and Dick, but we have to do this because we have to restore credibility. Now, the one thing I would raise with you is people talk about poor functioning charters, and I really wish that once in a while we would focus on poor functioning regular public schools. Why is that never raised? Why is it we never hear anything about those folks? We ought to be as upset and as concerned about a regular public school that doesn't function as we are about a charter school. Maybe there's politics in the middle of it, I don't know. Wait for my next book. I won't write about that, nobody will buy it.